Let's begin.
Yes, with the permission of Rina ma'am and Justice Subodh Shah sir and Hiranshi Shah madam, can I start? Hello,
Yes,
ma'am, am
Jayant.
I audible?
Jayant, you can
Can I?
begin.
Yeah. Good evening to one and all. I, Jayant Agrawal, is the coordinator of this event on behalf of the Maharaja Sirajrao University Union and Institute of Leadership and Governance and Sambar Initiative. Welcome you all under the Public Affairs Series. The period Sri Chiman Bhai Jiva Patel on the topic of youth and Constitution of India. Welcome you all for today's online session. Before starting of the session, please follow some webinar etiquettes. I request all participants to keep their microphone on mute and camera off during the session. In case you have any question, then please use the chat box only. You will receive feedback from me in between the session, so do fill it for certificate purpose. To begin with, let us start with the university song. Bhumi Patel, please.
सपना सारवनारा अमि ज्योति जलावी सृष्टि नवरी सहसा सर्जनहारा अमि वडोदराना विद्यापीठना सपना सारवनारा अमि ज्योति जलावी सृष्टि नवरी सहसा सर्जनहारा हमें गगन कुसुम कर धरनारा हमें मगन मगन थई फरनारा मगन बात हमें भरनारा हमें दैन्य तिमिरने हरनारा हमें वडोदराना विद्यापीठना सपना सारवनारा हमें ज्योति जलावी सृष्टि नवरी सहसा सर्जनहारा श्री सयाजी विद्यापीठना ज्ञान दीपने धरनारा श्री सयाजी विद्यापीठना ज्ञान दीपने धरनारा सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं मन्त्रनन्दर
Thank you, Bhumi, for playing the university song. Now, I would like to invite Ashish Dava to introduce Hiranshi Shah madam, who will tell us about the theme of today's lecture.
Hello.
Tisha Soni, please introduce Hiranshi Shah madam.
Hello. Good evening to one and all. Now I would like to introduce Hiranshi ma'am. She is a gold medalist in LLM.
Lisa, you are not audible.
Sir, do I continue?
Yes, please continue.
Okay, so introducing Miss Hiranshi Shah ma'am. She's a gold medalist in LLM. She's completed her BA in LLB and LLM from the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. She's an associate member of Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, United Kingdom, World Mediation Organization, Germany, board member of National Governing Council at UNAC, Singapore International Arbitration Center, London Court of International Arbitration, International Council of Commercial Arbitration, and many more renowned organizations. She is a certified mediator by the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, Government of India, and practicing advocate at Gujarat High Court. She was awarded the title of 9th Best Student Ambassador of India in Indian Mediation Week 2018, which is supported by Ministry of Law and Justice, Government of India, and Niti Aayog. Ma'am, I would request you to share about the theme of today's lecture.
Thank you so much, Kasish, for your my kind bio. Yes, so today we had gathered to be a webinar that the heating of the youth and the
Hello.
constitution. Hello, am I
Hello.
audible? Hello,
Hiranshi ma'am,
hello,
Hiranshi
am I audible?
Miss Hiranshi, you are audible. If you can hear me,
Yeah, ma'am, I can hear you.
can we just have the about the lecture a little later before I let me welcome the guests first.
Yeah, sure, ma'am, sure, ma'am.
So
There's
for the
some
same-
confusion that has happened.
Yes. So for the same, I would like to invite.
Well, I can just start. Please wait. Let me. It's okay. No introduction is required.
Okay. I would
Yeah.
like to invite Dr. Reena Bhatta, President of MSU Union and Director of ILG, to introduce for a welcome speech.
Okay. Thank you, Jayant. I would request Jayant to please follow the schedule that has been given to everyone. At the onset, with the blessings and support of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor V.K. Srivastava, who is also the patron of the Maharaja Sayajirao University Union, we begin our today's program with a warm welcome to each one of you who have joined us in this room and also live on our social media handles of the university, the union, and the Institute of Leadership and Governance. So on behalf of the Maharaja Sayajirao University Union, Institute of Leadership and Governance, and Sambhav Initiative, I wholeheartedly welcome the esteemed speaker, Honorable Justice Shubodh G. Shah, the retired judge, Gujarat High Court, जिनका हम सभी को आज के लेक्चर में मार्गदर्शन प्राप्त होगा। ऐसे ही एक महानुभवी का तहे दिल से स्वागत करती हूँ, जिनका मार्गदर्शन हमें हमेशा प्राप्त होता रहा है। The one who dons many hats, the charismatic youth icon, Dr. Jigar Inamdar ji. He's the revered Senate and Syndicate member of our university who will be giving the opening remarks for today's topic, Youth and the Constitution of India. And I'm sure he'll be joining us soon. उतने ही प्रफुल्लता से हम हमारे आदरणीय रजिस्ट्रार सर डॉक्टर के.एम. चुडासमा जी का स्वागत करते हैं. He'll be joining us shortly and around 6 p.m. And we look forward to listen to his concluding remarks at the end of the session. इस कार्यक्रम के कीनोट स्पीकर को हमारे से जोड़ पाए हैं ऐसे ही एक young lady collaborator of this event, Miss हिरांशी शाह का हम प्रेम पूर्वक स्वागत करते हैं। ये सारी जद्दोजहद जिनके लिए की गई, ऐसे हमारे सबसे मूल्यवान प्रतिभागी, the most valued one, that is our participants who have registered themselves not only from within the university but from other universities and organizations. To name a few of them, it is the High Court of Delhi, Gujarat High Court Bar, Baroda Bar Association, Banaras Hindu University, Jawaharlal Nehru University, Chandigarh University, Sardar Patel University, SRM, Sabarmati, ITM, VNSGU, that's the Veer Narmad South Gujarat University, GSFC, Miranda House, and other universities and colleges of law from Ghaziabad, Belgavi, Amravati, and many, many more. So also we have participants from Reliance Industries and HDFC. So we warmly welcome each one of you, the enthusiastic listeners, to this virtual event organized under the Public Lecture Series, constituted last year in 2021 in remembrance of the contributions made by the first Vice President of the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University Union and his contributions to the public affairs of the state of Gujarat and the country therein. And thus, we've titled it as The Pioneer, Chimanbhai Jivrajbhai Patel. This objective fulfills, it is basically to stimulate interest of the students in public affairs and cultural affairs. So fulfilling that objective, the team of volunteers at the union have connected with the Institute of Leadership and Governance, who too serve the same objective of training the youth to be responsible leaders. And thus they have collaborated with Sambhav Initiative, who supported us in making making provisions for the best of experts who could connect with the youth and give them the right guidance on knowing their fundamental rights and responsibilities as a citizen of the nation, who today are the center of the absolute strength. आज के इस आयोजन का उद्देश्य हमारे युवाओं के उनके अधिकारों और कर्तव्यों के ज्ञान के साथ सशक्त बनाना है, ताकि वे सूचित निर्णय लेने की क्षमता और अधिकार प्राप्त कर सके और ना केवल अपने जीवन में बल्कि दूसरों के जीवन में भी बदलाव ला सके. So at this point, I would like to share a quote by Swami Vivekananda ji, the most celebrated youth icon of his times, whose philosophies remain relevant even today. I quote, "My hope of the future lies in the youth of character, intelligence, renouncing all the service of others and obedient, good to themselves and country at large." So, keeping that hope on, we are sure the demographic dividend of this country present here will make the most of this learning opportunity. Before we proceed further, my heartiest appreciations to the event coordinators, Ms. Bhumi Patel and Mr. Jayant Agarwal, जिनकी कार्य प्रणाली और समन्वय को हम नमन करते हैं. I heartily appreciate and congratulate the entire team to organize this event with full conviction and commitment. A big round of applause for the young brigade, who surely will be our contributors to the new India, which is in the making. Once again, a very, very, very warm welcome to one and all. Over to you, Tisha.
Thank you very much, madam, for the speech. Now, I would like to invite Hiranshi Shah madam to say a few words about the theme of today's program. Hiranshi ma'am, are you there?
Hello. Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the youth and Constitution of India. So mainly in this webinar, we are going to be include the significance of the preamble and the why it was the soul of the Constitution of India. In this way, we are bring to understand the roots of the Constitution of India and make the aware about the forefront principle of the it. We had also in this webinar going to be approach the structure of the constitution and its role to youth in the building it. We had also in this role of youth in constitutional history and the development and the main uh, points of in.
Jayant, can we proceed? Because I think ma'am has lost her connection.
So thank you, ma'am, for saying few words about the theme of today's program. Now, I would like to invite Tisha Soni, student of second year BLLB, Faculty of Law, to introduce our honorable keynote speaker, Justice Subodh Shah, sir. Tisha, over to you.
Good evening to one and all present here. Now, I would like to introduce our esteemed speaker, Justice Subodh Shah sir. He has graduated in BSc and obtained a law degree in the year 1981 with the labor laws, and he also did LLM with the Constitution. He enrolled as an advocate at Mehsana, Gujarat, and continued his practice as an advocate till 1997. During this period, he practiced almost on all the sides of civil, constitutional, and revenue department in various courts of tribunal and commissions, which include High Court of Gujarat, Bombay High Court, National Consumer Commission, and was the first among the advocates who adopted the computer technology, as was the director appointed as the judge of the City Civil and Sessions Court, Ahmedabad, by the invitation, and was further sent to Supreme Court of India for the classification of cases at the Supreme Court. He attended the conference on SAP technology at the Kathmandu. As a quick learner, and his everlasting passion for the learning about computer and the IT field made him a perfect computer savvy, and he has instrumental in implementing the project of computerization in New Gujarat High Court complex. During his service as the registrar at Gujarat High Court, had worked on administrative side for infrastructure requirements of entire state judiciary, rule-making process of Gujarat High Court, accounts with the financial management of Gujarat High Court. He worked on cyber crimes and cyber laws and prepared a report on the subject to comment and on Information Technology Act 2000. He was also appointed as a special civil judge at CBI Court, Ahmedabad. Thereafter, appointed as a registrar at the Supreme Court of India on deputation. With his deep knowledge and vast experience, contributed a lot of implementing computerization projects in so many courts like Supreme Court of India, Madras High Court, Gujarat High Court, and all district courts of Gujarat. Further, appointed as a member of standing committee of the Supreme Court of India for monitoring E-Committee for computerization of entire judiciary in the country. He became the first in charge of the E-Committee of Supreme Court of India, looking after computerization of courts throughout India. Under E-Court project, he developed E-Court for the first time in India and had exercised limited powers for interlocutory orders as per Supreme Court Rules 1966. Subsequently, he attended Asia Pacific Courts Conference at Singapore. Sir, it will be our honor to listen to you and intake insight knowledge from you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening to all of you. Let us start with the subject. Would like to start with my PowerPoint presentation. Jayant, you have to allow me. Jayant?
Yes, sir. We will make you co-host. Just give us 1 minute, sir.
Sir, you can try it once.
Sir, please start.
Sir, you are unable.
Yeah, now, is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
So I'm thankful to Maharaja Sayajirao University Union and Institute of Leadership and Governance, the Maharaja Sayajirao University, Sri Chimanbhai Jivabai Patel online to call me on this online public lecture initiated by Sambhav Initiative and Hiranshi Shah. The subject is Youth and Constitution of India. Both are such a subject which cannot be completed within 40 minutes, but time is always a constraint and we must perform that, we must take care of that constraint. The other difficulty is whenever you start, the car will start in first gear. So while coming to the top gear or to top speed, there will be a end of time. But anyway, we'll try to explain you both the things, not only the Constitution of India, but what is required for youth as on date. So you have very good speakers. Probably I am the only person who is connected with day-to-day activity regarding not only interpreting the Constitution, but applying the Constitution to day-to-day life or to day-to-day problem of the people at large, public at large. So let us understand what is required for youth. The preamble is very much relevant, which reads thus: the justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thoughts, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and promote amongst them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of individual and the unity and integrity of nation. When we read this preamble, which is for us, means we the people of India, we ourselves has decided that we should do this: justice, social, economic, and political, liberty, thoughts, expression, belief, equality, fraternity. But unfortunately, when we are in real life, the reality is altogether different. So far as statistics are concerned, though I am not much I do not rely upon statistics, but we have to read it or we have to consider it that practically 26% population of the world and almost 24 to 27% population of the India are young or youth, and you will surprise to note it. These other the statistics are not much material, that how much people are there or how much students are or how much youth are there in which age group. But this is the reality, that youngsters have different myths amongst them. What? That young people are denied basic human and civil rights. Young people are at the mercy of parents and older people. Young people are held to be a double standard of behavior. Young people are subject to false negative stereotypes. Young people are treated as incapable even when quite capable. And young people are segregated from older society. These are myths within the youngster, which we elders have to remove it. So what are youth? Between the age of 15 to 24, all are youth. They are energetic, passionate, and competitive, but impulsive, impatient, and unable to take critical decision because of their not having proper experience of all the subject. So how to deal with them? We have to provide proper guidance, social awareness, we have to bridge the gaps, and mainly we have to educate them. And education, so far as constitution is concerned, is very much relevant. Unfortunately, day in and day out, I'm sure even in Baroda or in any other city of nation, including Ahmedabad, people are overtaking other vehicles from left side. People are crossing roads here and there. Basic traffic rules, which is meant for our safety, we are not following it. So education is very much necessary. In the National Youth Policy of 2014, youth are defined as persons aged between 15 to 29, regardless of the gender. The right to due process before being deprived of liberty or poverty, equal protection before the law, which protects older people from age discrimination, but not younger people. The right to make decisions concerning education, the right to work and right to earn. All these are issues to be taken care of so far as youths are concerned. Youth rights are the rights that everyone should have, but that are denied only because of young age. These rights include the right to be full participants in representative democracy through voting. In USA, the voting age is, they are trying to reduce the voting age. This is my personal belief that even in India, we have to reduce the voting age from 18 to 15. It may create some other issues, but it is necessary. The right to privacy. Now young people are having their different views and means of privacy, but this here what I am saying about privacy is legal privacy and not personal privacy. The right to be free from physical punishment. In developed cities, it may not be known to people, but in rural area, it is yet still there. The right to make decision about your own lives. Here again, there may be two different views, that suicidal thoughts, and that is not permissible. But in any case, decision about lives means what to do in your life. It is not necessary that a son or daughter of a businessman has to join the business of parents only. They may have their own interest. They must be allowed to do it. The right to be outdoors, to move freely, the right to, and this is more basic or more important, the right to prove yourself. In general, probably in India and more particularly in Gujarat, parents doesn't allow the children to fly or to move in their life. So they could not prove themselves. So there must be a proper right to prove yourself and the right to receive the same amount of respect as anyone else. These rights and many others, however, are denied because of age. Here I would like to give one personal example. You will be surprised to note it that even before 2 decades, almost 2 decades, in my colony, there was a guest from USA. A man, his wife, and their daughter. Daughter was aged less than 10 years. She has not crossed even 10 years. Then there was a marriage in a society, and everybody was going to attend that marriage. That small girl has refused to join marriage ceremony, saying that I am not invited in marriage. I need a separate invitation. If I am not invited by the host, how I can enter into the marriage program of marriage ceremony? I am not invited. So this independence is required not only for some, I would not name them, but only for some reasons, but it is required for every reason. So youth are also required freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, right to bodily integrity, unreasonable search and seizure from them, right to make decisions concerning their education, what is to be studied, what not to be studied, and right to work and earn money. But I tell you, all this is not denied to you. Parents are practically trying to safeguard you from the entire world because they have an experience. But this freedom, this is another difficulty in present society, that you want freedom, but whether you want freedom from corruption and terrorism also or not, because both these things are so widely now spread in the society that only youth can change it by confirming that no, we don't want corruption and we don't want terrorism. And if you don't want it, if you can let go it from the society by your strength, then there will be no poverty and nation would be very much, you will have a very strength nation. Then youth may have different issues. What is to be done? What is youth? They are always questioning. What is their importance? Their role in various fields, their social responsibility. But all this is possible if you take care of research and development, business and administrative services at appropriate time instead of wasting time in social media. Pardon me to say so, but of social media and other such time pass, TPs. So try to have to join administrative service, judicial service, do good business, do research and development. You can do so many things. You may have ideas, employment opportunity, job opportunity, startup. You may have jobs. Everything would be there if you work hard in all such fields. So in that case, you will be successful entrepreneurs. Now, before coming to the constitution, so till time I have said something about youth. Some may like it, some may not like it, but that is the fact. But now before turning to the subject regarding Constitution of India touching your life or your day-to-day activities, let there be a few slides which will give you an idea about your life. Never underestimate your competitor. Work hard. Expect the unexpected. There may be anything at any point of time. You should be ready for everything. Think there must be a better way. Don't put yourself in a fixed box. Come out of box. Think out of box. If we cannot direct the wind, we must adjust ourselves. We can certainly adjust ourselves. So if circumstances is not in your favor, make them in your favor. And if you want happiness for a lifetime, learn to love what you do. Whatever work or whatever is given or is possible by us, it is only for us. Believe in God. God might have done something for us considering our ability. Even one man can make difference, and don't worry, you may be that one man. But for that, you have to work hard, you have to let go something, you have to digest certain principles in your life. And best way to make your dream come true is to wake up. Start work from today itself. React now. Therefore, react now. Time, tide, and opportunity waits for none. Now, I'm trying to explain you one story of Panchtantra. I believe that now present youth may not have that much access to the stories of Panchtantra. It is a well-known story. Different people, when reach to the elephant, they find it differently. Some say it is a fan, others say it is a spear, some say it is a snake, one said it is a wall, another said it is a rock, someone said that it is a tree. I think it is. As we apply this to people around the globe, because your problem is right here. Everybody is touching the elephant from different place and they are thinking that elephant is of particular nature. It is the elephant, the wall, the snake, the tree, the fan, etc. Therefore, as we apply this to people around the globe, we see that it is not the people who are blind. They see issues very clearly, but they see these issues through the lens of their position, interest, or belief, etc. For example, so far as business are concerned, a salesperson, production person, finance, logistics, HR person. So also religion, culture, custom, ego, bias, competition in a human being, and in common, pro or against some concept, and so on. There are different examples. There may be different examples. But using this elephant metaphor above, the question is who is functioning blind? So when youth is complaining about elders or the system, I believe that they have seen only one part of the elephant. They have to see the all parts of the elephant, all issues of that subject or of that dispute, to realize that what is what, and to find out the solution about that problem, issue, or subject, or whatever is before you. It may be business, it may be social issue, it may be any issue. Another story of Panchtantra is also relevant. The man, the wife, and the donkey, and the critics. In some books, it is husband and wife. In place of donkey, there may be horse or a goat. But the moral of the story is simple, that you cannot please everybody at every point of time. Whatever you do, there will be a people who will criticize you. So just do what you believe that what is right, and not be distracted by criticism. Majority of Indian people are in trouble only because koi kya kahega, society mein kya lagega, how other will feel about your image, your nature, and therefore you either do not do proper thing or do something wrong. Please do not follow it. Now, if I'm coming to the subject, about 34% of the India's gross national income is contributed by the youth. The youth are the backbone of a society. They determine the future of any given society. This is because all other age groups, consider this, all other age groups, the kids, teenagers, middle age, and the senior citizens, rely on the youth and expect a lot from them. This makes the youth to be an important age group in both today's society and the future society, and then other age groups. Therefore, due to the high dependence on youth in the society, the youth have a role to play because the future of families, communities, and the country lies in your hands. But because you are having some other work in life, study, or not doing any earning activity, people may comment something, but ultimately it is for you to make yourself. The role of a youth is to renew, refresh, and maintain social values. Make it clear from that henceforth we will not do, we will not only do, but we will not allow anything wrong in the society. No wrong overtaking, no breaking of traffic rules, or select any subject where society is not doing it properly. I am aware it is not so easy, but it is for you to do it because you have that energy. Youth have a role to renew and refresh the current status of our society, including leadership, innovations, skills. Youth are expected to advance the current technology, education, politics, peace of the country, everything. To become empowered, let me explain it, though it is personal. I believe I'm not boasting you, but today we all are having this webinar and everything since last 2 years, and courts were able to function during this last 2 years. You will surprised to note it. I have seen this, or I have thought this scene in 1985. I'm using computer since 1985. My office as an advocate was computerized in 88, 89. I have computerized entire judiciary sitting in Delhi in my chamber. I have never traveled outside Delhi except traveling within the city to attend the meetings with in a law department or in NIC. But Since 2006 onwards, Supreme Court was connected with all the courts through such video conferencing provided by NIC for computerizing the courts throughout India, and all the judgments of High Court, Supreme Court and other courts are now available on internet. If this was done by me when I was youth, now I am the aged. So let there be a vision. Read something, find out that what could be required in future and do it. To become empowered, we must train our young minds, making them, now this is something for elders. Train our young minds, making them familiar with the Constitution and make them familiar with its principles and follow its spirit. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India, these words are so powerful that if only we understand its intended meaning, it would pave the way for the empowerment of each one of us. Freedom we attained 75 years ago, but empowerment will continue to elude us unless we make an honest effort to understand the ideals and spirit of our Constitution. Our Constitution is not only spells out the duties of various organs of the state and basic rights of the citizens, but also charges the citizens with certain duties. The failure on part would be a moral and spiritual setback. The preamble gives a fair idea of what behavior and conduct is expected of us, the citizens. It was further reinforced in 1976 by the incorporation of list of fundamental duties in the Constitution. We have to ask ourselves if our conduct is in conformity with these fundamental duties. The day we can honestly say yes, most of us, our problem that confront us in the conduct of our national life would disappear and our interests would integrate with the state. As citizens, we can show our commitment to the Constitution by consistently doing our duties, and that alone is the most effective instrument to protect our liberty. Today, our behaviors are more influenced by the legacy of the colonial rule rather than the spirit of the Constitution. That explains why we are still upset with our denominational and social identities, and the focus of political discourse takes no cognizance of the citizens. We, however, need not despair. We are an old civilization, but a young nation who has labored under colonial and other rulers for centuries. During this period, we developed certain attitudes that do not agree with the letter and spirit of our Constitution. The best method to get rid of that colonial hang-up is to train our young minds to become familiar with the Constitution and grasp its spirit. In a landmark judgment, the Supreme Court has observed that state is all the citizens placed together, and as though Article 51A does not expressly cast any fundamental duty on the state, the fact remains that the duty of every citizen of India is the collective duty of the state. We have to realize, the young youth has to realize it, that every one of us is a state. When we collect together, we are state, and state doesn't have a separate duty. It is our own duty, which is collectively duty of the state. Which duties? To safeguard each other, to safeguard the nation, not to do wrong, and so on. But wait, you have rights. It is not so that we are boasting you only to do something. We'll come to it also. The Constitution is the source of governance for the nation. Meaning of all rules and their extent are decided by the constitutional framework. Law colleges should involve students in research work on the Constitution and related matters. Principle of rule of law and independent judiciary and checks and balances that are built into the Constitution are the guiding lights of the Republic. Educational institutions should take up programs to create awareness about the Constitution and its vital importance in a democracy. As citizens, it is our scared duty that we identify and remove hurdles in the working of the judicial and other constitutional systems. We need to uphold the dignity of the Constitution and the judiciary. We need to protect and preserve the constitutional spirit. Young people should take pride in the Constitution and spread awareness about its vitality, among others. The Indian Constitution accords rights to children as citizens of the country. And in keeping with their special status, the state has even enacted special laws. The Constitution, promulgated in 1950, encompasses rights of the child or youth as a fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy. Over the years, many individuals and public interest groups have approached the Apex Court for restitution of fundamental rights, including child rights or youth rights. The directive principle of state policy articulates social and economical rights that have been declared to be fundamental in the governance of the country and the duty of the state to apply in making laws, which follows from Article 37 of the Constitution. The Indian Constitution has certain articles with the primary objective of safeguarding the basic rights of youth. Some of these safeguards are built into the fundamental rights and are enforceable in a court of law. Other guarantees are part of the directive principles of state policy, which cannot be enforced but underlie government policies and programs. Here again, before reading the provisions of Constitution, when I was reading these lines, the last few slides, I recollect my personal experience of a youth. I'm sharing it just with a view to make a show that what is going on in the mind of youth and which is required to be taken care of by educational institutions through constitutional provisions of Constitution. Before a couple of years, a young boy came to my chamber. I know his family, I know him also. He requested me that, uncle, I have to sign an affidavit. As a judge, I say, okay, we'll manage it. But by curiosity, I simply asked that what do you want to write down in an affidavit at this age? But for what you want an affidavit? And I took his paper and read it. You will be surprised to note it that his marriage was to fix after 2 months, but he came with a draft affidavit disclosing that he had already married to the same girl before 2 months. This 2 months is an example, but before some time, before a couple of months, 2 months. I asked him, because see the difficulty. I know his family, I know him personally. There would be an intimation to me to attend his marriage. I will have to attend his marriage. As usual, there will be my photograph with his family, with the couple and his parents in marriage, which is yet to be consumed, which is yet to be completed. But he wants to file an affidavit, so saying on oath that I have already married the same girl, there is no other issue, before 2 months. I asked him that why you want such a false statement on oath? You have yet to marry. He said, no, uncle, we want to go for honeymoon. I say, okay, you can go for honeymoon. Who said no? Only passport and visa is required. His answer was, uncle, we want to go in our name, not in a maiden name. Means my fiance and I want that we travel in our new name. Name of the fiancé with name of the new husband. See my difficulty. If I help in showing such affidavit, in future I have to attend his marriage. There would be photograph of marriage. How to deal with it? I'm not blaming all youth, but this mentality to let go anything or to forgive, not to follow any law or rule, traffic rule, provision of liquor, prohibition. So many things are there. I don't want to name all of them here. But all these things requires to be taken care of by both the sides, elders as well as youth. I hope I am audible and I am not boring you. I am audible now?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. So if we are coming to the provisions of Constitution which is touching to the youth, the Constitution have special relevance so far as youths are concerned. Part 3 of the Constitution, which deals with fundamental right, has now a new article, Article 21A, right to education. Freedom of education incorporates the right of any person to form a school and the right of parents, their children or students to be educated at the school of their choice. In some countries, enrollment in a public or government managed school system is compulsory and individuals are blocked from founding new schools without a license. In principle, anyone could found a school in India. Freedom of education is meant to eliminate any monopoly in education. So this is the basic right, fundamental right. You have a freedom to study at anywhere. There is no compulsion. And it came from the case of Mohini Jain versus State of Karnataka, wherein the apex court has held that right to education is the essence of the right to life and directly flow and interlinked with it. The dignity of man is inviolable. It is the duty of the state to respect and protect the same. It is primarily the education which brings forth the dignity of a man. The framers of the Constitution were aware that more than 70% of the people whom they were giving the Constitution of India were illiterate. They were also hopeful that within a period of 10 years, literacy would be wiped out from the country. It was with that hope that Article 41 and 45 were brought in Chapter 4 of the Constitution. An individual cannot be assured of human dignity unless his personality is developed, and the only way to do that is to educate him. So right to education is now there. Then Article 23, 1, right against exploitation, which prohibits traffic in human beings and forced labor, and thus aims at recognition and restoration of the dignity of a man. If there is any forced labor, you can challenge it. Article 32(2) of the Constitution provides that the government should not discriminate the citizens on the ground of religion, caste, creed, and group. There may be a question or a complaint regarding reservation when we are referring this article, but it is altogether a different issue, because the same Constitution also provides that states should do something to uplift the people who could not do their growth, who could not grow for couple of decades because of this casteism, racism. And it is approved by Apex Court also. Article 24 provides that no child below the age of 14 years shall be employed to work in any factory or mine or engage in any other hazardous employment. Unfortunately, day in and day out, we are watching child laborer everywhere, even in domestic houses, for domestic labor also, which is against the law. And if somebody finds it, it can be taken care of. The Constitution in Article 21 acknowledges the youth as a vulnerable group in the society. Under Article 27, it recognizes age as one of the bases in which discrimination by the state or individual is prohibited. So there is specific prohibition. There cannot be discrimination based upon the age. In a well-known case of People's Union for Democratic Rights, long back in 1982, the Apex Court has held that when a person forced to provide labor for less than minimum wages just because of his poverty, want, destitution, or hunger, it would be accounted as forced labor. I am aware the hard reality of life is different. It may not be forced labor, but minimum wages are not paid. Poverty, destitution, hunger is there in the society or in the nation. But all of us has to work together to wipe it out. And so far as constitutional provisions are concerned, the same case is the unique example where judicial redress is sought of a legal injury or legal wrong suffered by a person or class of persons who by reason of poverty, disability, or socially or economically disadvantaged position are unable to approach the court. And the court is moved for this purpose by a member of a public by addressing a letter drawing the attention of the court to such legal injury or legal wrong. The court would cast aside all technical rules of procedure and entertain the letter as a writ petition on the judicial side and take action upon it. This is the activism of judiciary, and it is based upon the constitutional provision only, and therefore every citizen of India is entitled to get redress from the court irrespective of any reason of poverty, disability, or socially or economically disadvantaged position. If it is unable to approach the court, legal aid committees are there, legal aid activities are there, but even addressing a letter, a petition to Supreme Court or competent court is enough. One can get redress of their grievances. And this is the constitutional power of our constitution, which is nowhere in the world. Part 3, fundamental right, if we go back to the provisions, Article 21(1) is regarding right to freedom of religion. This article provides that if the institution is an educational one and it is wholly maintained by the state funds, religious instructions cannot be provided in such institution. Article 28(2) provides that if the educational institution has been established under any endowment or trust which requires that religious instructions shall be imparted in such institution, then despite the prohibition in Article 28(1), and despite the fact that the education institution is in fact administered by the state, religious instruction can be imparted in such institution. Article 28(2) thus, in no uncertain terms, envisages that an educational institution administered by the state and wholly maintained by the state can impart religious instructions. So this is the practically freedom of religion. You can study it in appropriate school. Article 28(3) states that there may be educational institutions imparting religious instruction according to whichever faith and conducting religious worship which can be recognized by state and which can also receive aid out of state funds. Similarly, article provides that no individual attending any educational institution which may have been recognized by the state or is receiving state aid can be compelled to take part in any religious instructions that may be imparted in such institution or to attend any religious worship that may be conducted in such institution without such person's consent. Implicit in this prohibition is the acknowledgement that the state can recognize and aid an educational institution giving religious instruction or conducting religious worship. In the United States, on the other hand, it has been held that state-maintained institution cannot give religious instruction even if such instruction is not compulsory. So our constitution is far liberal. Then Article 29(2) provides for cultural and educational rights, protection against discrimination on the ground of religion, race, caste, and language, and does not in any way come into play where the minority institution prefers students of its choice. To put it differently, denying admission, even though seats are available on the ground of the applicant's religion, race, caste, or language, is prohibited, but preferring students of minority group does not violate Article 29(2). So minority communities like Parsi, Jain, and others are given some more benefits under Constitution. Article 31 provides all minorities, whether based on religion or language, shall have the right to establish and administer educational institution of their choice. Article 32 provides or prevents state discrimination against a minority educational institution. Article 39 small a, all citizens of India have equal right to an adequate means to livelihood. Article 39 small c, the state shall direct its policy to secure the health and the tender age of children are not shall not be abused, and that citizens are not forced by economic necessity to enter avocations unsuited to their age or strength. So you may not be forced to do some labor work which you cannot do considering your age and health. Article 39F, childhood and youth are guaranteed against exploitation and moral and material abandonment. Article 41, the state shall, within the limits of its economic capacity and development, make effective provision for securing the right to work, to education, and to public assistance in cases of unemployment, old age, sickness, and disablement, and in other cases of unserved want. Article 42, the state shall make provision for securing just and human condition of work and for maternity leave. Almost 40 minutes is over, but now only few slides remains, only probably 3 or 4 only. Article 44, the state shall endeavor to secure for citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. It would be maybe in near future. The state shall endeavor to provide within a period of 10 years from the commencement of Constitution for free and compulsory education for all children until they complete the age of 14 years, which is done by Right to Education Act. Promotion of educational and economic interests of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and other weaker section. Reservation is already there. Some may like or we may not like it. The state shall promote with special care the educational and economic interests of the weaker section of the people, and in particular of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and shall protect them from social injustice and from all exploitation. Now we are concerned with practically fundamental duties. Rights, there are several enactments based upon different rights. All statutes are basically based upon some provision of Constitution. And for all those provisions which I have read speedily, there is one or another enactment statute, and there is remedy available to people at large. But unfortunately, after rights, we forget to go through the fundamental duties. It shall be the duty of every citizen of India who is a parent or a guardian to provide opportunities for education to his child, or as the case may be, born between the age of 6 and 14. It is their duty to send the child to the school. Although Part 4 of the Constitution refers to the fundamental duties, it makes special reference to proper education and socialization of youth. The National Charter of 2004 of the Government of India emphasizes the government's commitment to children's right to survival, development, and protection. Welfare laws and regulations are there. The governments and the center and the state have enacted laws that favor welfare and development of children and youth in the areas of health, education, and employment. There are several schemes by the central government to support the rights which I have read here in above. Rights of youths, National Youth Corps, Pradhan Mantri Kushal Vikas Yojana, scheme for so. These are only examples. This list are just examples. There are several such schemes. So basically, all rights and duties, for all rights, there are some enactment, the statute or scheme or some provision. We have to take advantage of it rather than spending our time by TP. So I'm almost 40 minutes is over. It is always better to remain in time. But before ending, again, I would like to show you 2-3 slides. Provide shelter to others, be helpful to others. Sign whatever the weather, whatever the circumstances, do your best. Find a way. If there is no way, make the one. And remember, we all are here for some special reason. Stop being a prisoner of your past. Become the architect of your future, for which knowledge of Constitution and law is very much necessary for every citizen of any nation. give thanks for the day. Thank you. Jai Hind. I think in a given time, I have tried myself to explain that what is youth and what is the constitution for them. As I have said earlier, any time limit is always difficult to complete a particular subject in more detail, but I hope all of you must have learned something from whatever I said. I am again thankful to the organizer, the Maharaja Sayajirao University, Baroda and Sambhav Initiative to invite me to give this lecture. I am thankful to all of you to listen to me peacefully without any disturbance. Thank you all of you. Thank you all of you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for a nice speech and for giving us insight of topic wisely in simple words. Your expertise on this subject made it possible, and we are immensely grateful for the same. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Tisha Soni for moderating question answer session. Tisha, over to you.
So there are certain questions pertaining to the topic in the chat box. Ms. Pratima Pathak is asking about how do we reconcile between freedom regulating dietary restriction of a particular community as a part of ICCPR provisions and another community not willing to abide by them. Please elaborate on protection of freedom to have hijab versus rights to gender equality, which needs to be established to remove gender discrimination. Also, how far it is constitutional to challenge religious character of a place historically having varying significance for different communities.
I think Pratima has included more than one subject or more than one question in a writing, and all are touching to the day-to-day activities, or what we can say it is a sub judice matter, hijab, religious character of religious places, everything. So on one hand, I can simply say that since it is sub judice, let not discuss or talk on it. Let the Supreme Court decide it. But at the same time, I will try to answer it differently, which may not be a correct or perfect answer, or the answer which Pratima wants. Because many times the person who asks the question may not be knowing it, but the answer may create some issues here and there. But the bottom line is, all these issues are more or less more political, and it is a vote bank games. Otherwise, it is difficult to say that every person of particular caste is not a good person, or every person of particular caste, they are only good persons and they don't do anything wrong. There are criminals. We are in a court. Criminals are not having any religion. We have criminals from all the caste and creed and religious, from all sect. So far as freedom of dietary restrictions or dress, freedom of hijab or everything is concerned, see, so far as hijab or something is concerned, the issue is different. It is not a restriction to wear in hijab in a educational institution. The real issue is how to identify a person in a public place. If you wear a hijab in a public place throughout the time, how to identify you? And you must recollect, and it is not only in movies only, but in real life also, many times hijab is being used by criminals just to hide their physiques or their face. So if you have if you want to continue with particular dress, it is, nobody has restrained you to do it whenever it is possible. But if you have to pass through an airport, if you have to show your identity on a camera, would hijab be done? You have to remove your hijab and you have to show your face to travel abroad, to have your license, to have your passport. Would anybody say that passport will be with hijab? For passport, we are ready to open our hijab. Sorry, I am not blaming anybody, but anyway, then similarly, place of historical places, there I have a different, what you can say. Unfortunately, everybody fails to realize that law of land provides that if somebody is in possession of a particular property for more than 12 years without any disturbance and without any claim, he becomes owner of that property. The reason for that ownership, that possession may be religious, may be forceful at the point, but if it is before a couple of decades or in practically couple of centuries, all of it, it may be correct that at given point of time it was owned or it was a particular caste or something. But when it was not disturbed for centuries together for one or another reason, only because now for some, I don't want to name those reasons, but the law of land is, then it is being selectively used. Then the third one is dietary restrictions of a particular community as a part. That also it is, see, I am Jain. Some of the Jains are taking food before 6 p.m. One Supreme Court judge was taking food before 6 p.m. at any cost. He reached up to Supreme Court. I have seen so many judges, so many people. So many Jains are traveling China and Europe for a week together, and they don't eat a single piece from market. They took Jain foods with them and consume them. So it is the personal thing of a person. It is their choice. I don't think that anybody, including any agency or any authority, should interfere in it. Saying so many things would may create some problem. Let us take another question.
Yes. Sir. The second question is from Dr. Prashant Amin. Youth is a soft target of gaming company. Apex Code is thinking about the game of skill and game of chase, but manufacturer of game is outside of country. How can we tap under law? As R&D Chimbakwala case discuss legal and illegal business in India, but gaming fall under which category? Under or other category?
But I have to ask Dr. Prashant Amin first, that what he is doing, is he asking about a particular case or in general, whether Prashant Amin is available, or because sometimes and legal advice, it may not be turned into a legal. Where is Mr. Prashant Amin? Is he there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes. What are you doing in your
sir,
life?
actually, I am asking about the constitution, how the constitution can, because constitution is depend upon the geography. So if the gaming business is legal in India, but the manufacturer of the gaming is outside of the country, and most vulnerable is youth who doesn't know the how the gaming will affect. They become addict over a period of time. And I mean, as R&D Chimbakwala case in Supreme Court has already decided what is a legal business and what is illegal business. So in that sense, I would like to tell what is a constitutional, our Indian constitution, how it can tap to those companies or business as far as the gaming business is concerned.
No, but before that, I have asked you a cross question. What you are doing, I understand your question very well, because I have read and I have given a legal opinion in one of such case. But what you are doing in your life?
Sir, actually, I'm assistant professor in the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda.
Okay, sorry. Okay. Because see, like a doctor, we must know that who is asking and why he is asking. As doctor has to know that if there is a pain in stomach, there would be a different medicine or different treatment for different type of patient. Like woman, pain to woman in a stomach may be different, and pain to Jain or Patel would be different. Treatment would be different. Anyway, doctor, when you are in legal field, let me explain it simply. That unfortunately, therefore, if you have read me, you have heard me thoroughly. Unfortunately, our society after these 75 years has developed a different mentality. I have given an example of my somebody who has came before me to show an affidavit. The people, if they have to do something which helps them, which is in their favor, they don't bother to do anything wrong. If I have to overtake any vehicle from left side, I will not bother. If somebody overtakes me from left side, I would be angry. Now, nobody can help this mentality of entire Indian population. Entire means almost majority. So far as issue of gaming is concerned, I tell you, like tobacco or like any other product, the developer of a gaming application, they are money minded. Unless we teach our youth, our child, not to follow it, not to consume tobacco, not to take drug, not to have a more social media or this and that, it is difficult to control them. So far as legal provision is concerned, the story of elephant and 6 blind men is more relevant. Everybody has a different view. Everybody may have a different concept about it. With due respect, I will say that if you search Supreme Court judgment or a judgment on any subject, you will find out diversified judgment on the same issue. So saying anything after retirement is not, I am not in a position to advise anybody, but your question is very much relevant. You are very much right. The developers are now not within India. They may develop it. In that cases, there will be a few more cases. You must recollect the case of Sahabanu, where Supreme Court has taken care of right to protection of Muslim women's right to protection act. Some provision were declared unconstitutional. So as and when ball comes or as and when difficulty comes, there would be some good judgment. Let us hope there would be some good judgment against it. But you are absolutely right. There would be always a dilemma. Particular game application, whether it is a chance or whether it is a skill, there would be a diverse argument. There would be different views. There would be different decisions, and therefore we have to take care of ourselves. I am aware there is no legal answer to your question, but it could not be. Yes, next.
Yes, there is another question from the participant. In social engineering, what is act of youth in frame of with constitution?
What is act of youth in frame of? iPhone means to everyone. The person has not disclosed his name. Anyway, but see, this is what I have conveyed for last 40 minutes. The act of youth is to control the illegality, irregularity, and to follow the constitutional and provisions of different acts. One simple example is a mania or what you can say the concept nowadays in a society. Though there is a ban prohibition of liquor, probably some group or families or some people are there in society which consider it as a status symbol. If they consume liquor in private party in their house or in their farmhouse, they think that it is what is wrong in it. So we have to teach, or we have to make the youth understand that what is wrong is wrong. If it is wrong as per constitution and as well as any enactment framed by the lawmakers, then it is wrong. Unless we follow the rule of law, society or nation would never grow up. So what is the social engineering is? The youth has to come forward to stop each and every irregularity and illegality within the society. Yes?
I hope there are no other questions from the participant side. So I would like to conclude the Q&A session. Over to you, Jan.
Just 1 minute. The Pratima has made another question, that how to execute this smoking and everything. That the answer is the same. If somebody is smoking, dare to complain against him immediately. Call a police. Any police constable doesn't listen to it, give a call to higher authority that there is a ban of smoking at this place, how it is allowed. But unless we come forward, nothing can happen. Okay, thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite Amrita for introduce Dr. Zubair Gandhar, sir, who will give us special remarks. Amrita, over. I think she has some network issue. I would like to introduce Dr. Zubair Gandhar, sir. Dr. Zubair Gandhar, sir, is a Senate and Syndicate member, the Maharaja Sahajirao University of Baroda. He is founding director, Institute of Leadership and Governance. He is the regional director of ICCR. With this short introduction, I would like to over to Jigar, sir, for his special remarks.
Thank you so much, Jayant. Actually, I should say sorry to all of you, especially Honorable Justice Subodh Shah sir and all the participants. मुझे इनिशियली कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत में ओपनिंग रिमार्क्स के लिए कहा गया था, पर हमारे आईसीसीआर ऑफिस में हमारे डायरेक्टर जनरल सर की विजिट थी और उसकी मीटिंग चल रही होने के कारण मैं ज्वाइन नहीं हो पाया। आप सबसे हृदयपूर्वक क्षमा प्रार्थना। मैं सिर्फ एक मुद्दा कह के मेरी बात को पूर्ण करना चाहूंगा। I am not an expert of constitution, and so I will not and I should not speak much on this. और जो सच में कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पे अथॉरिटी है, संविधान की अथॉरिटी है, ऐसे जस्टिस सुबोध शाह सर का हमें मार्गदर्शन मिल पाया है। मैं एक बात जो हमेशा से करता हूं और वही बात को मैं रिपीट करना चाहता हूं कि कहीं न कहीं संविधान को एक ऐसे पवित्रता का दर्जा दे दिया गया है कि हम सभी जिस प्रकार से मंदिर में भगवान की मूर्ति की पूजा करते हैं या जिस प्रकार से भगवान की मूर्ति को दूर से प्रणाम करते हैं, उसी प्रकार से हम लोग संविधान को भी पवित्र मानते हैं। और जिस प्रकार भगवान की मूर्ति को छूना पाप माना गया है, शायद हमारी मानसिकता ऐसी बन गई है कि संविधान को भी हम छू नहीं सकते। इसलिए संविधान की पवित्रता की बातें करते हैं पर संविधान खोल के पढ़ने की चिंता कोई नहीं करता। यूथ एंड कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया, इस विषय पे अगर बात होनी हो तो मैं आज के यूथ को यही कहना चाहता हूं कि संविधान पवित्र है, पवित्रता हम सभी स्वीकार करनी चाहिए हम सबको, पर संविधान को स्पर्श करना चाहिए, हाथ में लेके खोलना चाहिए, उसको पढ़ना चाहिए और संविधान का अभ्यास करके संविधान के ऊपर बोलना चाहिए। आजकल व्हाट्सएप यूनिवर्सिटी में जिस प्रकार के ज्ञान की बातें आती है, कहीं से भी किसी ने लिख दिया, 10 लोगों को फॉरवर्ड करो, 50 को फॉरवर्ड करो, आज के आज ये पहुंचना चाहिए, ऐसा करके लोगों को पहुंचाओ। उसमें कुछ भी चीजें संविधान के नाम पर चेप दी जाती है। और इसीलिए जब तक संविधान हमने पढ़ा नहीं, जब तक संविधान का हमने अभ्यास किया नहीं, तब तक संविधान की किसी भी बात पे कमेंट करने का हमें अधिकार नहीं है। इतनी स्पष्टता हमें रखनी चाहिए। आप सबसे मेरा आज के दिन इस सुंदर विषय के आयोजन के बेला पर, उस क्षण पर मैं आप सबको यही सजेस्ट करना चाहूंगा, रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहूंगा कि प्लीज आइए। और कहीं पे संविधान हो ना हो, हमारे वहाँ इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ लीडरशिप एंड गवर्नेंस पे हमने संविधान की कॉपी, जो ओरिजिनल संविधान प्रिंट हुआ था, वो हम पार्लियामेंट से खरीद के लाए हैं और वो हमने रखा है। आइए संविधान की उस पवित्रता को मेंटेन करते हुए संविधान को पढ़ने का प्रयास करें। और जब तक पढ़े नहीं तब तक कमेंट ना करें। आप सब संविधान को पढ़े, उसको पचाए, उसका पालन करें। यही आज के दिन मेरा सुझाव हो सकता है। आदरणीय सुबोध शाह सर हमारे बीच आए हैं, उन्होंने बहुत अच्छी तरीके से पूरे विषय को रखने का प्रयास किया। मैं बहुत लेट ज्वाइन हो पाया, पर इस प्रकार की विभूति हमारे बीच आए और हमसे बात करें, ये इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ लीडरशिप एंड गवर्नेंस और महाराजा सयाजीराव यूनिवर्सिटी यूनियन के लिए बहुत ही सौभाग्य की बात है। मैं आदरणीय रीना मैम और सभी टीम मेंबर्स को शुभकामना देता हूँ, बधाई देता हूँ ऐसे सुंदर कार्यक्रम के आयोजन के लिए। और अभी हमारे रजिस्ट्रार आदरणीय डॉक्टर के एम चुड़ासमा जी पर उपस्थित है क्लोजिंग रिमार्क्स के लिए। तो आपके और उनके बीच में ज्यादा समय न लेते हुए मैं मेरी छोटी सी बात को छोटे से समय में पूर्ण करता हूँ। पूरी टीम को मेरी तरफ से बहुत बहुत बधाई। धन्यवाद।
Thank you very much, Jiga sir, for your special remarks. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Dona to introduce our registrar sir, Dr. K. M. Chudasama sir, who will give the concluding remarks. Dona, over to you.
Thank you, Jayant. Dr. K. M. Chudasama sir, PhD in Economics Infrastructure Development, is the officiating registrar of the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. He has been awarded with National Maritime Award by the Ministry of Shipping, Government of India for the best research work on economic impact of port development in Gujarat. He holds the credit to bring the first award of its kind to Gujarat state for research in maritime sector. Sir has also served as the former Deputy Director at the Institute of Leadership and Governance. He is an inspiration to our youth. I now request Sir to please convey his insights for today's lecture.
Thank you. Namaskar and a warm welcome from my behalf and on behalf of Senate Syndicate members, Vice Chancellor and Chancellor Madam, to Honorable Justice Subodh Shah Sahab. Please accept our gratitude. We are grateful that we have you here with the youth of Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. I was listening to his comments and listening to his description regarding various aspects. It reminds me about two things: that the maturity which we need to deal with various kind of issues comes over time. And this message from this presentation or from this lecture has been given and communicated to the youth of Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda, apart from the content which he presented. Sir, special thanks on behalf of the entire team of MS University of Baroda that your valuable inputs have in fact generated a keen interest into going into details about the issues rather than just sharing or commenting into it. I must appreciate his wisdom to share the things with students in a manner which a student can, grasp. if he was addressing the teachers or if he was addressing any other professionals, probably he might would have opted any other methodology. But when he was discussing various things with students, I think with a greater responsibility on his shoulder, his each and every word, statements, and he was trying to convey and convince students that what can be a dimension of thought, what can be a way of reasoning, and what can be a general logic that can apply to any of the matters pertaining to the constitution or any other thing. This is a great learning from a gentleman and a professional, that we might get only 1 hour to listen from him. There were certain topics on which he discussed. There were certain questions which he answered. But apart from that, what made me very interesting, or which made me feel very interesting, is how to deal with it. There cannot be any specific answer, there cannot be any specific reasoning method, but there can be a way to deal with it when you keep your eyes, ears, and above all your mind open. That is what he mentioned, that please don't take anything into literal meaning. And here I would like to say that youth now holds a greater responsibility to run the nation. And as mentioned by Honorable Senate and Syndicate member Dr. Jigar Inamdar, that we nowadays rely on WhatsApp University. By that comment, he means that without going into the details, without understanding the concept, it is very risky and immoral to comment and share into a public domain. Without taking much time, I once again would like to thank Honorable Justice Saab for being here with us. And I have personally gained something which is very useful in today's life. That is, there can be various dimensions to deal with a situation. As an administrator, maybe my domain is into administration of an university, but the learning which I got it from Subodh Shah Saab is that there are ways and means of interpreting a situation in context of a situation. And that is a greater responsibility on the individual who is a decision maker. Tomorrow, the students would be on a decision-making platform. If at all they are not into a domain of decision-making, they are a civil citizen. Their comment, their thought process, their attitude would matter to the Indian domain or the Indian reputation or the Indian livelihood. We should carefully interpret the discussions, we should carefully interpret the comments, we should carefully interpret the issues, and then responsibly we should indulge into it, and then we should help out or we should resolve the situation. That is our learning from the today's discussion. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity and organizing this wonderful event. And thanks is a small word to appreciate and acknowledge the kind presence of Honorable Justice Saab here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so much for your kind knowledge, and indeed we as a youth of this university and India would surely take forward all the learnings that we gained from today's lecture. For a formal vote of thanks, I on behalf of the Maharaja Sayajirao University Union express a heartfelt gratitude to all our speakers and participants for joining us for this lecture. I am very grateful to collaborate with Institute of Leadership and Governance and Sambhav Initiative. I sincerely thank our keynote speaker, Justice Subodh Shah sir, for delivering and connecting us to the knowledge of Constitution, which can be inculcated in our future time to come. Apart from their busy time and tight schedules, I heartily appreciate Dr. Jigar Inamdar sir and Registrar sir's presence for this wonderful lecture. All the team, especially Hitanshi ma'am for giving us this idea and collaborating with the idea of our and supporting to connect to Subodh sir, Jayant, Donna, Ambika, and the technical staff, came sir at the institute and Achal sir at the communication cell to continuously stay in support for the success running of the lecture. I apologize if I have missed out anyone's name, but surely our president ma'am, who endlessly day and night supports with the cause and idea that we students give, surely Reena ma'am would be a guiding light of for us. Thank you once again. And I would request everyone to please rise for the university national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you everyone for joining us and making this possible.
Hello.